All right, Steeler fans, and welcome to another mailbag segment. It is Wednesday, the second half of the Let's Ride podcast. That's right. So we do the mailbag. And in case you ever want to know, like, how exactly do I get my questions answered, find me on Twitter or X at jhartman, HARTMAN_PIT. Every Tuesday morning, I put out the tweet. You have to respond, and I will answer it live here on the air. Remember, get them in early. The earlier, the better, in case I have to record early because I've got to cart my kids somewhere around the four-state area doing a seemingly endless amount of activities. But let's get this show on the road. Let's start with Believers with the Ride or Die Crew poll of the week. He said, compared to previous years, this year I feel, here are the options: better about this team, about the same, or worse. Now, I chose better about the team. I actually think this team is headed in the right direction. I like the draft class. I like the free agent acquisitions. I like where they're trending. I think the quarterback room is better. So, yeah, I feel better about this team. Does that mean they're going to go out and win the Super Bowl? No, but it means that I feel better about this team. Let's go to Jeff Coons. Hi, Jeff. Greetings from Not Matt, Canada. I'm pro Tomlin and generally happy about the contract extension. If you're Omar Khan and Art Rooney II, what specific areas are you expecting sustained improvement in him as a coach? Trusting your punter is a perfectly fine answer. I honestly think that if I'm looking at Mike Tomlin and where do I want to see improvement, I want to see more consistency in the on-field product. We always talk about winning ugly and how wins are wins and all that stuff. I would want to see an offense and a defense that are more of one cohesive unit and not one that's having to bail out the other. I would want to see Mike Tomlin be able to weather the proverbial storms and just find a way to have a more consistent product. Eliminate those the trap games. Eliminate the not being able to step up to the opponent. That's what I want to see. Let's go to Steve Van Aersdale. I hope I said that correctly. So why do you think a lot of fans are miffed by the Heyward talks? In my opinion, the writing was already on the wall prior to the draft. Last year of his contract, no one else on the roster to replace his consistent play, and no defensive lineman taken until the later rounds of the draft. I'm not miffed about the Cam Heyward contract talks at all. I have, again, from our source, has been told that they were probably going to get a deal done with him, and it's twofold. Cam Heyward would get the security of, let's say it's a 2-year extension. They give him 2 extra years. So they're able to take his current cap hit and decrease it significantly. He gets I'm going to be here at least for another year. They could put in a clause in the contract stating that after 2025, they can get out of the deal if they want. And it fits for both parties. But I think there's a lot of people that are wondering, is Cam Heyward capable of still playing at a high level? It all depends, or a lot of it depends, on his health. And he was not healthy last year. So I do hold judgment in that regard. Let's go to Corey Eckenroth. He said, okay, Jeff, camp is about to begin. Some names for early candidates for the SCN Brett Kiesel Award are dropping here. Who do you feel is winning it this year? So if you listen to the Steelers Hangover, Corey joined Shannon White and Daniel J on the show. Make sure you go listen to that. They talked about a lot of these. Here's poll number 1 for Corey. The options are Corey Trice, Darius Rush, Ryan Watts, and Beanie Bishop. Now, remember, in case you're new and you haven't been around, it used to be called the Isaac Redman Award, but we renamed it when we came to Fans First Sports Network and the Steel Curtain Network was formed. And so they have to be a late round pick or an undrafted player. They have to exceed expectations. And so for me, I don't put Corey Trice or Darius Rush in this mix because they've been with the team. I don't think that's fair. So it's between Ryan Watts and Beanie Bishop, and I'm going to go with Beanie Bishop. I think Beanie Bishop's a good guy. Now, let's continue. I know that he has another poll in here somewhere if I can find it. Here we go. Got it. The second poll is John Reese Plumlee is a quarterback. Julian Welshoff, I think, is an edge rusher. I don't know if it's Dayan Edwards, the running back from Georgia, or Trey Brown is a center. I will go with the running back because I think the Steelers do like those players. You all can go find those polls and vote. We'll obviously have some written work on that at steelcurtainnetwork.com. Make sure you check us out at that website, steelcurtainnetwork.com. Very proud of the product we're putting there, and I want you all to check it out. Let's go to Thomas. This quarterback room still makes no sense to me. Love the players we have, but not having a quarterback pass this year is crazy. What do you think the team will do? I would feel a lot better if they offered Fields an extension, even if it was just a small one. I've been on board by saying that I think that would be a good idea. It wouldn't look good. I'm sure Russell Wilson wouldn't be happy about it. It would give the Steelers some security, though. Nonetheless, I can see them gambling, not signing anyone before the season starts, going through 2024, and then making a decision after this. And hopefully, if they do find one of these two guys could be a legitimate quarterback for 2025 and maybe beyond, they're able to lock them up before free agency starts. Why would they do that? It all depends. That's the thing we have to ask ourselves. Why would a quarterback, whether it's Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, why would they sign an extension before the season? Russell Wilson, I might be able to convince myself into why he would do that. But why would someone like Justin Fields decide to sign a contract before the season starts? It just doesn't make sense for him. So it's going to be really interesting how they handle that. Let's go to Bagels and Bong Ribs. Hi, Jeff. Would you consider having a training camp / post-training camp meetup? Not a bad idea. We always say that we're going to go up to training camp, and just due to everyone's schedules, it just never really works out. And the fact that you have to have tickets now, I know they're free, but maybe we'll see. I can't make promises. We haven't had those discussions yet. I know I'm going to be going on vacation in early August, so that shouldn't impact training camp too much, but we'll see. We'll talk with Brian and Dave, see what we can work up. Let's go to B. Selfridge. You think with Tomlin getting 3 more years, it lines up with Arthur Smith to have one last run together as a pair? After the 3 years, we could see a new coach and OC together. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, Arthur Smith did sign that 3-year contract, and he's going to be with Mike Tomlin for that time. I guess it just depends on how the offense looks. How competitive are they? How improved are they? Are they scoring more points? We'll see. I don't want to go too far down the road there because really, I haven't seen this guy call plays in Pittsburgh yet. Neither have you. So let's pump the brakes there a little bit. Let's go to Jay Allen. Who will be the highest paid player on the Steelers in 2025? I'm going to stick with TJ Watt. I still think that if they sign a quarterback, it's not going to be more, whether it's annual per year, or if it's basically on a total, meaning the total sum of the contract. I'm still going to stick with TJ Watt, and he deserves it. Steelers 419. Where would you rank the Steelers receiving core among the league? Top third, middle third, bottom third? I don't think anyone in their right mind. George Pickens is great, and I love him. But how could anyone in their right mind say that they're in any third other than the bottom third? They're not a top third team. They're not a middle third team. They're a bottom third. I'm not saying not team. They're not a top third unit. They're not a middle third unit. They are a bottom third unit. Now, could that change? Could Calvin Austin be more than what we thought? Could Van Jefferson be more than what we thought? Yes. But as we sit here right now, I can't say, even though I'm a huge Steeler fan, I can't say and lie to everyone out there saying, oh, yeah, they'll be middle third or top third. No, they're bottom third right now. Let's go to James. He said, I've been slacking with my questions lately, but making sure to get them in today. Training camp is still down the road, but I'm curious what positional battle you're most looking forward to. Also curious if you think there will be any sleeper battles. So the battles I'm looking forward to the most, definitely offensive tackle. Where does Troy Fautanu fit? Broderick Jones, right or left? Dan Moore, we'll see. Anxious to see that. I'm also anxious to see how they utilize the safeties with DeMonte KZ, Minka Fitzpatrick, and Deshaun Elliott. Definitely interested to see some of the battles, more so in the depth of the defensive line. Where does DeMarvin Leal fit? Isaiah Loudermilk, Montravius Adams, Braden Fihoko. Let's not forget he's back with the team. But I also think that the wide receiver position could be a sleeper. Quez Watkins, Scotty Miller, Calvin Austin III. A lot of those players are very similar in stature. They're not going to keep them all. So who wins? We'll see. Let's go to Tom East. Jeff, please let me say first, condolences on your loss, because no matter how old we are, it never gets easier. Tom, thank you very much. Was back in Wheeling, West Virginia, my hometown, this past weekend. And what really sucks? I mean, not the loss of life is awful, but it sucks that sometimes you don't see family unless someone gets married or dies. And I've said I'm going to change that. We're going to be doing a big family get together this fall, but got to see some family I hadn't seen in years, and so that was good. That was good. That kind of filled my cup from a soul perspective. So that was really good, even though we were there for all the wrong reasons. But thank you for the condolences, Tom. Question that he asked: can you picture a scenario where the Steelers bring Quan Alexander back for depth? With the uncertainty of Holcomb, would you consider it? I absolutely would consider it. but it depends on would Quan Alexander want to sign with Pittsburgh. They just drafted Peyton Wilson. They just signed Patrick Queen in free agency. They're assuming, a lot of people are assuming that Cole Holcomb will be ready by the time the season starts. If they sign Quan Alexander, I'm not against it, but that would tell me that Cole Holcomb is not going to be playing this year, or at least in the early portions of the season. So if they were to make that move, that tells you all you need to know about the injury to Cole Holcomb. Let's go to Jeff Kenny. Hi, Jeff. Do you think the Steelers will try to change Russ and Just playing style to reduce time to throw, sacks, fumbles, and interceptions? Much of their success has resulted from improvising, but the negative plays are killers. I think that if you get a good coach, they can coach players that don't necessarily thrive under structure, i.e. Ben Roethlisberger in his prime. You can coach that player what to do in those unstructured situations. You can also teach the wide receivers what to do in those unstructured situations. I mean, we all can, I'm sure, remember how many times did we see Ben Roethlisberger in the mid-2010s scramble around, and it looks like it's a broken play, and he finds Antonio Brown down the field, who Antonio Brown, all he did was stop his route and follow his quarterback, and it was a big play. Not all of those, actually, I would say hardly any of those were structured. So they did teach Ben how to, okay, you're scrambling to the right, cut the field in half. You got to hope the receivers see it. They move with you. Sometimes you got to throw it away. So you can coach good decision-making even out of structure. So I think they could change in that regard. All right, let's go to Eric Marchesani. I'm sorry if I butchered that. He said, do you think the Steelers will wait until rosters trimmed to 53 to see if a wide receiver 2 type gets cut, or are they ready to ride at wide receiver? I don't think you could at wide receiver. Wide receiver is one of those few positions that you could get someone that gets cut after the 53-man trim down. And maybe they get in and get acclimated quickly. But still, I think they would rather have someone in the training camp, getting them acclimated to the offensive system, to the quarterbacks, to the coordinator, all of that. I think that's their preference, is to get, if they're going to get a receiver, to get it earlier, but don't think that they won't be scouring the cut list from all 31 other NFL teams when people trim their rosters from 90 down to 53. Brandon Diaz, he asked several questions. He said, will Tomlin win a Super Bowl by the end of this extension? Yeah, I'll have my black and gold glasses on. Sure. Yes. Jump to 2027. Does Tomlin re-sign or resign? I'm not sure which one you said. I think that he probably steps away. You listen to Mike Tomlin talk, I think that he's probably viewing this 3-year extension as maybe like, hey, here's my last go at it. You have to ask how long he wants to do it. Maybe he wants to do it for a long time. A lot of people do. Bill Belichick coached forever. Bill Parcells coached for a really long time. Maybe he's one of those guys. I don't get that vibe from him. Nonetheless, that's my guess. Next, will Najee or Jalen be the starter by week 18? I think it'll still be Najee Harris, barring him getting hurt. Now, Jalen Warren is good, and he'll have his role, and it's going to increase this year, but I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. Next, will minicamp and training camp, with minicamp and training camp coming up, what's the most exciting battle to watch? Kind of talked about that already. Who will be the quarterback next year? Gosh, Brandon, like that's the $1 million question. I have no idea. I'm hoping that it's Justin Fields and he can be the future for a long time. Nonetheless, we'll see how it goes. Last one. Has the source said anything in regards to Cam's contract? We were told this was right in the early stages of the offseason, the new league year starting, that Cam Heyward getting an extension was going to happen. I would be shocked if it doesn't, because we were told like there's no rush on this, but they're going to get a deal done. So we'll see. Let's finish this up with some humor. Steeler fan 69, as he always does, provide some dad jokes. He said, what kind of tennis shoes does a chicken wear? He said, in your chicken voice, Ribbok, bok, bok. I did the best I could. Next, did you know Bruce Lee's brother is a vegetarian? His name is Broccoli. And then lastly, Chuck Norris actually died 5 years ago. The Grim Reaper has been afraid to tell him. I love Chuck Norris jokes. They are some of my favorites, like the one where, did you know that there's a cure for cancer? It's found in Chuck Norris's tears. Too bad he never cries. Or my all-time favorite, did you know when Chuck Norris does a push-up, he's actually pushing the earth down and not his body up? So just some humor. I love this. That's so funny. All right, good show. I appreciate everyone for sticking around for the entire show. We'll be back on Friday for the All Bets Are Off segment with Jeremy Jerome Betts. I do recommend you check out all of our content at steelcurtainnetwork.com and right here on our podcast platform. Check us out on YouTube. Give us a like and subscribe at there. You go to Steel Curtain Network on YouTube and you'll find us. In the meantime, that does it for me. Hope you all are having a great week. Have a great rest of your week. We will see you on Friday. We finished out. Be safe, be kind, and God bless. Go Steelers.